I wasn't expecting this so quickly. Let's see. I still haven't even had my water. It's only been an hour. My god. Alright, hold on. Alright. In the chat. If you're in the chat upon hearing this message, you don't have a lot of time. You have 1 minute. 1 minute to place your bets on who you think is going to be this week's finalist. Is it going to be the Terran or the Zerg? It is up to you to decide. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Royal Blood, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing CranKy Gaming. The best Zerg player in all South Korea. It is Dark. Oh, going for the pool first. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, going for what looks to be the Bjorn opener. A 2-racks. We have the South Korean Terran player, the runner-up of ESL Master Summer of DreamHack Young Shipping. It is GuMiho. And this is what I love about GuMiho. GuMiho is not a very standard player. He's not standard at all. And what I mean by that is that he has a lot of variety to his play. Obviously, what he's doing isn't anything special. If anything, it's very Bjorn. Bjorn goes for this opener every single game, and I've been talking about how there have been some Terran players that have been mixing it in, like Maru, like Clem, Special, Ryung, even GuMiho. They have been sprinkling in this 2-racks opener whenever they can, as Bjorn did popularize it. And again, GuMiho is willing to play in such a manner as well. Now the question becomes, is this going to be a 4-racks? That is the question. Meanwhile, Dark, he scouts, and I'm sure he's like rolling his eyes. He's like, God damn it. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. We casted Dark versus Bjorn in KSL. And Dark messaged Bjorn, and he was like, mate, when are you going to stop going for a 2-racks? And then Bjorn's like, when I win. Dark's like, Z, shaking my head. It was on Near Humanity, if you remember. It was a couple of weeks ago. I recommend checking out the VODs. They were typing to each other in-game. As links have arrived, the Reaper does confirm the delayed hatchery, by the way, that it was a pool first. Dark is going to be waiting for the army to move out. You can see the Overlord has eyes on this, and as soon as that Reaper does move out, the Lings should move in. As the Reapers of GuMiho have arrived, chipping away at the hatchery. Dark's just waiting for a couple of queens to come out. Marine has been revealed. It looks like these Lings are actually going to be holding on a little bit. I guess because it's a Marine, he doesn't want to waste anything, so... And basically, these Lings are going to be chilling here, waiting for the opportune moment. Oh. As we are going for a Ling Flood. Okay, Ling Speed is about to kick in. We have pulled out of gas. And we're not droning up too much. Okay, we're mixing in a couple of drones. So we have Lings on the way, and we're still droning at the same time. Wall, currently not a wall. Dark sees maybe an opening, but no, the wall has been rebuilt, has landed. Behind this, it's not a 4-racks. We do have a follow-up starport and factory. So it is a 2-1-1 opener. And this is where I'm starting to get concerned. It's a 2-1-1, and we're spending a lot of larva on these Lings. We're going to be able to shut down these Reapers, of course. They will all go down. But this was a big investment, and these Lings shouldn't get any damage. They shouldn't. There we go. Depot is raised. We have a wall of Marines. Yeah, a lot of these Lings could have been drones, so because of that, Dark is not in the best economic position. Ooh, as he throws down a very fast Roach Warren. Okay. You have my attention. Gases are being taken. Roaches will soon be on the way. And GuMiho is still working towards his 2-on-1, but this is a quirky 2-on-1. Again, it's very GuMiho-esque. As the medevac is coming out, we actually delayed Stim so heavily here. As we go into that third TC, we have a single medevac drop. We have Hellions coming up behind this. Quite a big investment into Hellions as well. 6 Hellions are coming out. Oh, they got to be careful not to be caught out though. Oh my god, that is so much damage done to that medevac, and it looks like the Marines, they may even be abandoned. Oh, did you barely pick him up? Get him the hell out of there. Roaches in production. Hellions do reveal themselves. Is Dark gonna commit to the push? It looks like he is. Roaches are gonna be pushing out. Add-ons are looking very exposed. We have 3 bunkers on the way, but Stim, I don't think Stim is gonna finish. I think GuMiho's in trouble. Despite, like, he's making 2 liberators at a time. This is what it's so weird. Oh my god. Roaches, Ravagers, Lings rushing across the map. The reactor is going to be going down, and this tech lab, yeah, it should fall as well. Massive loss here for GuMiho. Tank's still on the way. We didn't go into a 2-on-1 like Banshee opener or anything like that. Roaches completely shutting this down. Oh. Bile's even taking down a couple of those workers, and behind this, Dark, if he wants to, he can drone. He's not though. He could drone. But now, there we go. We are going to be going into that drone, into droning. Oh, can we get the deeper? Up, up, up. Deeper does eventually fall, and yeah, things are going to be in a way stabilizing, at least for Dark, where he's going to be backing off. He's going to be saturating his 3rd base. He should be working towards a 4th momentarily as well. Meanwhile, GuMiho doesn't really have too much pushing power, so because Stim was heavily delayed, GuMiho can't really move out. But when he does, it's going to be quite a move out. His tank count slowly getting higher and higher. It's not looking too bad. He's going to have Liberators involved as well, but before that happens, Dark, he pushes in and he does bile down both those Liberators. They were stacked one upon the other. Dark getting so much damage done here. He takes down the ground army. He's getting on top of the SCVs. Lings, they get on top of the tanks. The Biles are connecting. Oh my god, GG gets called. And Dark will take game number 1. He was droning behind this. Dark, I don't think he expected the game to end here and now, then and there. But he found a good opportunity for it, and he does it. He takes game 1. GG, well played. Dark does take a lead in this series, and yeah, that was quite an end as well. For things to very quickly snowball out of control, Dark initially recognizing, hold up, your Liberators are stacked. Your Liberators are stacked. Let me just dip in and deal with this. Hold up. I also got to surround on your Marines and Marauders. Let me just clean the. Hold up. I have high ground vision. I may as well bile down your tanks. Like, things get very quickly escalated, and whew. With that, Dark already has a lead in the series. Now we're going to be getting into game number 2. Dark is so good at pulling out, and now he's pulling back in. I could watch Dark pull out and pull in all down. Pulling out of his gas. Get your mind out of the gutter. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Gresswan, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing CranKy Gaming. It is Dark. Spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player representing himself, the ESL Master Summer runner-up. It is GuMiho. Interesting. So we have mirrored builds or mirrored openers. Once again, Dark is going for a pull first. Once again, GuMiho is setting up for a double Rax opener. There it is. Second SCV is coming down to low ground. Second Rax should be thrown down, and yeah, GuMiho is going for the same build here. The same opener, I should say. So in the last game, to wind it all back, GuMiho went for a 2-Rax into a 2-1-1 into his third CC eventually, but he delayed his add-ons on these Raxes, so he had a very late stim. He was making Hellions, and he went for a vanilla Marine drop. It was such a quirky build, or sorry, such a quirky follow-up from GuMiho in that last game. And unfortunately, he happened to be going up against Roaches, and it fell on its face. The Roach army of Dark got out of control. And I do worry for GuMiho again, because this is not a bad map for Roaches. There's no ramp. Just like the last map, just like Royal Blood, there is no ramp going into the naturals, so you don't need high ground vision to bile things down. There we go, Roach Warren is on the way. Dark goes for his Overlord Scout. He gets eyes on the opener, though he does see both the Raxes on the low ground. Lings once again are going to be bypassing that Reaper. They're going to be held off here over on the left hand side of the map. We're going to be waiting here for the moments after these Reapers move out, and if we do go straight into add-ons, then the Lings are going to be able to dive in and deny these add-ons. But no, we're going into Marine production instead. Reaper confirms the late hatchery, so he knows it's a pull first. He hasn't seen the Roaches yet, but he can assume. It should at least be, you know, Lings and Queens early on. Here we go. First Roach is going to be revealed. GuMiho has all the information he needs, and he should be throwing down bunkers back at home. He should be throwing... There we go. Bunkers are on the way. Now, what's a shame is... Fun fact. Because we've casted a lot of Beyond. We've casted so much Beyond over the past couple of months. And he's been in this situation before. So Beyond, if he scouts Roaches, he does get bunkers, but he actually gets bunkers on the right-hand side of the wall. On the other side of the wall. The reason for this is because it protects the production. It protects it because this is really the only thing keeping GuMiho alive. These two Raxes are the only thing making units right now, and if they go down, then he's going to have nothing left to defend. So Beyond typically would throw down his bunkers on the other side to protect them, and he pulls workers to repair, just to buy time for additional units to come out. GuMiho isn't going for that reaction. As a result, his production is under threat. Now, there's the tech lab on the way. We have a Cyclone in production. The Raxes are going to be forced to be lifted. First depot goes down, second depot as well. GuMiho doesn't get supply block, thankfully. Able to get another depot up in time. And Dark is going to be containing GuMiho here onto his two bases. Behind this, we are droning. Dark is not going all in. He backs off. And I'm sure he's happy about another thing as well. The other reason why Beyond invests a lot into protecting his production there is because Beyond does something that GuMiho doesn't. Beyond prioritizes his add-ons. He prioritizes the reactor and the tech lab. That's why last game GuMiho's stim was so late, because again he's intentionally delaying his tech labs here for oh so long, which is dangerous, right? It just means that your bio army is going to be so weak for so long until you get stim going. We can even see GuMiho floating his racks all the way into the main, just to keep it safe to eventually, I guess, go for the add-on swap here. Yeah. So I'm not too fond of this. I guess it's less risky because maybe GuMiho isn't confident in actually saving those add-ons, and he does make a tank first as well. So I guess it is a safer way to play, but against Dark, I don't know, you don't want to slow yourself down, right? So we go. Tank does come out. It is going to be more of a 2-1-1 setup. I mean, I say that, still no starport. We have 3 more Raxes on the way into a third CC. So GuMiho is going to be staying at home. Very defensive play here from GuMiho. And because the starport is so delayed, that means that there's no medevac. That means that there's no drop play. That means we can't be active on the map quite yet. So GuMiho is going to be staying back at home. He's going to be giving Dark a lot of freedom. With this freedom, Dark is going to be saturating this third base. As we speak, we have double Evo chambers for double upgrades. Lair is on the way for Roach speed for 1-1. And yeah, Dark is sitting back quite pretty at home. Now, I imagine this is going to be for +1 range. Yep, and there we go. We have roach speed on the way. We should be getting, yep, +1 range. So we are going to be relying a lot more on a roach-heavy composition here for Dark. He can transition into Lingbane afterwards, but just because of the opener, just because of his tech available, he has to commit to Roach Ravager, at least until the mid-game. Likewise, it also means that Dark's army isn't going to be as mobile. He's going to have a harder time being too active and harassing and like trying to punish a third base. He has to go for more committed pushes instead, and he will have a pretty strong timing here with 1-1 once it kicks in, especially at the third base of GuMiho. Like, the power or the danger of Gressvan is that there are so many different attack paths, and pushing here towards the natural base is so powerful because there's no ramp. There's no ramp to really protect the Terran. Unlike here at the third, where you have the high ground vision, you have the defender's advantage. So we'll see if Dark does try to hit a timing with 1-1, or if he goes for a later timing with 2-2 instead. As the fourth base is being taken, Dark just fully saturating on 3 bases at a really healthy drone count already. 74 workers is really what we want. And this means that Dark can now focus on his roach production, and oh, he's doubling down even more. He's got burrow and tunneling claws on the way. Very unique. Love to see it. Oh, as Dark does overextend a little bit here. It's going to be bleeding out some of these roaches. Oh my god, we're doubling down in every manner, mate. We have a burrow, tunneling claws, and a Nidus worm on the way. My god. Dark really wants to make use of these roaches. And this is kind of helping out with the issues that we were talking about earlier. I was bringing up how roaches and ravagers, they're not really mobile. It's difficult to harass with them, especially in this matchup, without really committing to these big pushes. But things like tunneling claws, things like Nidus worms, they can help with that. They can allow the Zerg player to harass and make it back home in time as well. Make use of this roach army in a little bit of a more active way. Until then, though, GuMiho's pushing out across the map. He has his first wave of medevacs. 1-1 is done. Stim as well, as we do Stim on forward, and Dark is in a little bit of trouble. Oh boy, did he invest too much into that tech? There aren't really too many tanks behind this. The Marines do overextend a little bit. Dark is trying to get on top of the tanks. He's trying to buy them down. Oh, we are running out of roaches. We're running out of steam. The first tank will fall. Dark has to be very careful with these Ravagers. He does pull back in time, but this hatchery is going to go down. At least it's dead. Hatchery will fall at the same time. The roaches were sent across the map to harass instead. That's why this defense was so close. Dark will barely push this back, and he deals a lot of economic damage across the map. GuMiho, his attention, having a hard time keeping up with the aggression of his opponent. Scan will clean this up, but this was a really good moment for Dark. He may have lost the hatchery, but he didn't lose any drones. He didn't lose a single worker there, and he reset the tank count. He deals economic damage across the map. Despite the aggression of GuMiho, despite the committed push, he's the one with an economic deficit now. Meanwhile, the Nidus is on the way. The main army is going to be threatening that third base. We're not going to be able to bust on through, especially with this tank. But we don't need to. We're distracting GuMiho right now because the Nidus, it's going to get up and running. Oh, but there are Marines in position. Yeah, we're going to have to back up there. We're going to have to back up. We're going to have to respect this. A couple of roaches are going to sneak out towards the north. Going to be forcing another scan. Just such a thorn in GuMiho's side. GuMiho trying to recover economically, trying to rebuild his workers. Back at home, Dark 2-2 kicks in, and we have the infestation bit on the way. This is going to be for infestors. 2 to 3 infestors is what we're looking for. What Dark is really lacking with this army composition of Roach Ravager is splash damage. That's why the Marines are so terrifying and so threatening. We don't have any banelings. We're going to go for the next best thing, and that is going to be fungals. Fungals from those infestors. Oh, no shot. What? Oh, the turret. I was like, he's out of range of the skin. How's he dying? Oh, there's detection. Oh, never mind. It's all good. as these roaches are finally being hunted down, but again, they are costing so many scans from GuMiho. At the same time, we do have a marine drop here on the right-hand side. The queen will fall, but the drones are preserved. And there is pathogen glands on the way for those infestors. And once the infestors come out, I do think that that kind of takes away a lot of the pushing potential of this army. The tanks, of course, are still threatening. But, oh god, no! Up! Oh, a little bit of a misrally, or we just didn't have the attention for it. A lot of roaches are going to be going down. But the tanks are still going to be a threat. The marines are going to have a hard time pushing into the roach army. As 4 infestors are on the way, Biles is going to be zoning back the forces of GuMiho. Oh my god, the Biles even take down some Medivacs. Now, is Stark overextending? A little bit. But he also needs to, he's buying time for the infestors. The infestors are still in production. He needs time here to get them up and running, and then even though he's losing a lot of roaches, again, the fungals do make up for that. I love it. We even have infestors on the high ground. Uh-oh. Here we go. We're waiting for the fungals. We're waiting for the moment. Up, and there it is. A massive fungal. The Biles as well. They connect on the Medivacs. All 3 Medivacs go down. They're happy. The infestors, they're excited. As just like that, the push of GuMiho gets stopped in its tracks. Behind this, Stark getting his 5th base up and running. Could do with a couple more workers, but regardless, has a pretty hefty army. With this maxed out army, we're going to be taking up even further. We have the Hive, we have Lurker Den on the way. We should be getting 3-3 momentarily, as well as the Lurker upgrades. Because we invested into range, again, Lurkers are a really seamless transition here for Dark. As the tanks are attempting to slow push up this ramp. Now, the tanks are still a big threat. As we mentioned earlier, the infestors don't really help too much with that. Oh, Dark maybe overextending here. He's going to be losing a big chunk of his army. But he's going for a counterattack instead. He doesn't care. Oh. Oh my god, 3 infestors just went down. We only have 1 infestor left. GuMiho is gaining ground, and across the map, the roaches, they don't do too much. Uh-oh. Dark has 30 more roaches in production, but the hatchery goes down. The center base is under threat as well. Dark, he's getting knocked down to 3 bases. He needs to take another base. Roaches across the map are being cleaned up. Yeah, not expanding here towards the north is really hurting Dark. It's going to eat into his economy. It's going to eat into his production, his larva. You can see Dark setting up a surround there. He's going to be coming in from behind, coming in from all around. We do have 1 fungal remaining, and it does connect with those Medivacs. Yeah, the roaches, they come in from behind. There's not enough on the ground to protect these tanks. Dark cleans this up. The final infestor will go down. Very good pickups here from GuMiho. He reinforces. He has another army. Dark, he's still up against the wall. He still needs another base. There it is. GG gets called. Dark runs out of steam, and GuMiho ties up the series 1-1. GG. That's the dangerous thing about Gressman is that center area, if the Terran takes control of it, they got 2 bases for free. They got the center base as well as the triangular third. Dark was running out of lava. He was just running out of steam in general. He lost his infestors a little bit too quickly. And even though he had a Lurker Den on the way, he just didn't have the time, didn't have the breathing room to get into Lurker production. GG, well played. We have a series. We have a series. We have an ace match, as we are going to be getting into our next game. And yeah, even though that was really, I mean, that was really shaky for both players. Like, both players were hurting, right? GuMiho, he lost so many workers earlier to the roach counterattacks. But he was so persistent. His macro was so on point, just consistently just sending wave after wave of reinforcements. He wasn't trickling in either, so he wasn't being caught out by those reinforcements, or sorry, by the hit squad of roaches of Dark. And yeah, we're getting into game 3. Let's go. Game 3 is going to be taking place on Neo Humanity. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Neo Humanity, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing CranKy Gaming. It is Dark. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran representing himself, the ESL Masters Summer runner-up. It is GuMiho. That was a very close game. That was very back and forth. Oh, unfortunately, Dark was just not able to hold on to that center location in time. You could argue that, again, he was maybe overextending a little bit too often with his roaches, with his Ravagers, trading a little bit too inefficient. He just wasn't able to pick off those tanks when it mattered most. Before GuMiho was really able to fortify himself and establish himself in the center of Gresfan. And now we're getting into the ace match. Once again, GuMiho 3 games in a row is going for the 2 racks. The Bjorn opener. 2 racks is here on the low ground. This time, Dark doesn't go for a pool first. He goes for a hatch gas pool opener. Ooh, he's not going to be kind of forcing himself into this kind of early roach position. I appreciate it. Definitely do appreciate it here from Dark. And again, you don't need an early pool. You don't need early roaches to deal with this. It's just Dark trying to bully GuMiho and trying to test or skill check him in a way to see if he's as good as Bjorn with this opener. And GuMiho, who was able to rise to the challenge. Definitely. First wave of Reapers are on the way. Again, this should only be for 3 Reapers. 3 for map control. The goal here is going to be to, dance with the queens, delay the 3rd base if possible. But Dark is going to be taking the linear 3rd. I appreciate it. Definitely do appreciate it. A much more safer base to take here in ZBT. As the Reaper of GuMiho has arrived, is going to be dancing with these Lings. One Ling already does go down. He wants another. And he's going to be able to get it as well. But the queens finally arrive, and with the power of these queens, Dark should be able to hold on to his natural. So Reapers shouldn't get out of hands, and GuMiho is actually doing the Bjorn opener. Okay. So what I mean by that, as you do see the Reapers dance with the queens, I was kind of criticizing GuMiho in both Game 1 and Game 2 as well for delaying his add-ons on his Raxes, if you recall. Just because, specifically GuMiho, he wasn't really rushing into Stim. He was delaying Stim by quite a bit. Same with combat shields. This time, we have the add-ons. We have the add-ons as a part of the wall. We are rushing into them as quickly as possible. Stim is on the horizon, and we have our 3rd Rax in the main. No 4th Rax. Interesting. So I assumed that this was going to be a 4 racks, but no, it's going to be a 3 racks follow-up instead. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit less committed. This can hit with with Medivacs as well. That's the factory is already on the way. A 4 racks moves out without Medivacs. You move out with your Stim timing with a massive amount of Marines, and you hit as quickly as possible. With the 3 racks, this is going to be a little bit less Marines. We're going to be delaying our push here in favor of supporting our army. Overlord dips in, confirms the factory timing, confirms it's not a 4 racks. So Dark knows he can get away with more droning. So the Overlord does go down. But typically, if you're up against a 4 racks, you want to cut workers at around 40. And we can see that Dark is saturating his bases. He should be taking a 4th base momentarily as well. Ooh, Roach Warren is thrown down. Dark is going to still play with Roaches. It is his unit of choice. As he does send his Lings across the map, he still wants to be active. He still wants to make sure he doesn't get caught out of position. And I feel like we should be cutting workers between 50 and 55. As we're about to have an add-on swap, and we should be seeing the Medivacs coming out soon. And by the time the Medivacs come out, we need a ground army for the Zerg. there is that adult swap. GuMiho's already being active on the map, already starting to move out. Back at home, Dark has been able to drone up to 54. Is still lacking that hatchery, to be fair, but I believe he's sending his drone over now. Should be looking to expand. And Dark needs to focus on his Ling Roach production. He's still droning, which I'm a little bit concerned by. GuMiho is now moving out across the map. The medevacs should be joining shortly, and there we go. The medevacs are boosting out to meet up with the ground army. Uh-oh. And if we look at the units tab here, we've got 25 Lings, we've got 11 Roaches, we're about to have 14. Is that enough? It's going to be close. With us around, it should be enough. With the Queens as well. So here we go. The Marines, they do dive on 4. They do stim. We can see a couple of Roaches are going to be falling here, and the Marines are doing quite well for themselves with these reinforcements coming up for Dark, though it looks like he will barely hold on. That was rough, though. 9 Roaches fell, trading with 21 Marines, but the drop play doesn't stop. We're sending out another army. We have a tank. We are going to try and punish this 4th. I don't know if we really can, though. I think Dark should have enough on the ground here. I mean, yeah, the tank doesn't siege. We don't want to lose it. Roach is going to be dancing with this army, and GuMiho is trading a little bit efficiently, but yeah, he recognizes that he can't quite get any more damage done. Is forced back. Oh. And with that, GuMiho actually isn't stopping his aggression. He's not all in. He does have a 3rd base behind this, so he should be expanding momentarily once he gets his production up and running, once his orbital does kick in. But he's still being so active. He's just constantly in the face of Dark. Doesn't want to let him get this 4th base up and running uncontested. See, again, threatens a drop into the main, but Dark, he's just always in position, denying the drop time and time again. Speaking of, once again, we do load up. GuMiho is being forced away. And behind this, Dark should now be free to drone up this base. He's cutting workers at 64. I do think we can afford to drone up a little bit more than this, especially now that Dark has scattered and confirmed the 3rd base. And now that he knows it's not a 2-base all-in, he's safe to saturate his bases, tech on up even further. This time we are working towards +1 melee, not range, so we are transitioning into Lingbane out of Roach Ravager. It served its purpose, definitely. Chat. I wonder what Dark wants to do with the early bar. Yeah, I was gonna ask and you shall receive. He heals up his roaches. There you go. He never got tunneling claws. I did see the roach warren earlier, and the burrow earlier, and I was fascinated. I was fascinated by the burrow. I was like, what's it for? What's he planning? Was it a mistake? It may have been a mistake. Oh god. As yeah, I mean, he's gonna be able to use it to regenerate his army, I guess, and it is to help defend against drop play. But yeah, nothing too major. Interesting. As Dark is just gonna be saturating his 4th, taking his 5th as we speak. If I could interview Dark, I would ask him if it was a mistake or if it was intentional. Part of me feels like it was a mistake, but I mean, as I say that, I have actually seen a lot of Roach builds where you get Burrow and you use it kind of like Blink, where you're fighting with the army and you borrow your units like in the middle of the fight, And if they don't scan, then your units will regenerate. They will be able to come back into the fight a little bit later on. It's always really fascinating to me. It's really cute. It's possible that was the plan, but meanwhile, here we go. GuMiho's pushing through the center of the map. Dark has maxed out. Bailing speed is now kicking in. 1-1 is done in time. Dark getting ready for a surround. Ideally, he wants GuMiho to push into creep. GuMiho knows that, so he backs off. He sieges up here in the center of the map. He's only going to be moving out with a handful of bio units to clean up this creep. It's a very meticulous, very slow, very thought out play here by GuMiho. And he knows about the power, the threat of that Zerg army. Doesn't want to get caught out. Going for another massive link counterattack. Oh, but Dark's got to be careful here not to lose too much of his Ling Bane. He has a good amount across the map to try to harass and delay that base. Speaking of burrow, there we go. We have a borrowed Ling just being as annoying as possible. Delaying that for it. Oh, and we do have a surround being set up as well. The Vipers, they come in. The blinding clouds are real. Out of 4 tanks, only 2 of them can fire. We even have some parasitic bombs on the medevacs. Dark completely swallows up this army. Bailings, they roll on in. The tanks were not ready for this. They were caught on siege. They're all going to be going down. And GG gets called. Dark, in one fell swoop, just collapses on the army of GuMiho. And GG gets called. Wow. GG, well played. Dark does this so often, and I'm always like enthralled by it. I love that whether it's in ZVT, he does it against Protoss as well. He commits to a big Ling Bane counterattack. And if it doesn't find any damage, like if his opponent's in position, he backs off, and then he uses it to surround the army. Then that's when he backs off. He positions himself behind the main army of his opponent, and then he goes for the surround. So like it's kind of a win-win. It's either he's able to do some counter damage and cripple the economy of his opponent, or catch some reinforcements, or if he can't do that, he goes for the surround instead. And it wasn't just a surround, to be fair. He was able to tech up into Hive. I mean, we had Adrenal on the way, and with those blinding clouds, he was able to shut down that entrenched position of GuMiho and, yeah, have a really amazing fight. The best fight he could have hoped for. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations. Dark advances on to the grand finals, where he's going to be facing off against either the winner of Cure or Solar.